Hello everybody, Iain Robson here for another episode of Lanwerhkanal. Alright, we got a couple things going on today. If you recall from the previous episode, we brought the John Deere over with its ridiculously large corn header. Some people are actually saying this corn header is a wee bit too large for this size of combine, the 650 with the 18-row corn header. I didn't look. Actually, I should have looked for other corn headers to see if there were any other out there. Let's just see if I have any other ones readily available. I may or may not, I don't know. I think I may have one, but I'm not sure where it comes from. There's this one, which is 12 meters wide, which I think is pretty much the same idea. And there's this one, but this is actually for one of the Kloss combines, I think. No, I think it's actually for this John Deere right here, I think. Yeah, I don't have too many smaller corn headers, unfortunately, so... These are MR ones. No, I guess we don't. That's unfortunate. So I guess we'll have to stick with what we have for the time being, which is slightly annoying, but just the way it is, I guess. Alright, so we have this cornfield here. Let's go ahead and get fired up and start harvesting this guy right here. I think what happened actually last time is we ran out of time, I think is what actually happened, if memory serves at least. I kind of brought it over here and I was like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna run out of time, and of course I did. Alright, let's get this guy. Where's our trailer? I left it somewhere. Oh, before I forget about it, here's a quick little shout out for Andy of I'm the Farmer Game Boy. He wanted me to give him a little shout out, so there you go, Andy. Or I'm the Farmer Boy, whichever you prefer, I don't know. So, a little shout out. I don't know, if you guys ever want a shout out, I guess if you ask nicely, I might do it. I don't always do it, so don't hold your breath or anything, but every now and then I do it just because people ask politely. If you ask repeatedly, I probably won't do it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Alright, so I am finally back in a situation where, well, not back in a situation, I'm in a situation where I'm not super far in advance, which is good. And by super far in advance is what I mean is not super far in advance in terms of recording, so I just have a few episodes in advance. And by a few episodes, I think I have today's and tomorrow's, and I think that's it, actually. So I will probably go through the comments a little bit more again, now that I can do that easily. Alright, start recording. Get this guy to do this. And what I'll do is I'll do the combining this time around, and then I'll have this guy just running back and forth to the farm, basically. I think I'll do the combining this time around. So people are asking where the other farm was. The other farm is up there in the trees, and it's up that pathway right there, basically. It's up there in the trees, and that's where the dairy farm is, in case you're wondering. Because I know some people were, oh geez, that's going to be terrible, I think. The one thing I couldn't understand is why that fuel tanker doesn't work properly there. It kind of threw me off a little bit. I fully expected it to work properly, and it definitely does not. So I'm a little slightly annoyed by that, but there's worse things in life, I suppose. Alright, let's do this. What field number is this? 36. So let's call this F36 unload. Perfect. And we'll set them on the proper one. We'll set it to the only combine we have, which is that one. And drive away. Excellent. So, let's get this guy fired up. He already was, apparently, and I totally just shut him off. You know how many times I've done that? I can't even count how many times I've done that. Too many. Let's just say that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that Kloss Lexion 760 video that I made. I just happened to come across it, and that's the reason why I made the video. I was at a dealership in Ontario, so I thought I'd hop into it and make a little video about it, so that's pretty cool. The soil mod is actually not on this map. Some people asked about that. They're looking forward to seeing the soil mod. The soil mod's not on this map. Let me just clarify that. Some people think it is. I originally thought it was, but it actually wasn't that. It was just the fact that I had the manure lime mod on it. So if that helps you at all, that's what it actually is. It's not the soil mod. Although now we have on the Idaho map, we have the, oh my goodness, we do have the soil mod. So funny enough, one of the things I realized was by having the soil mod on, specifically when I was playing last. Are you gonna run into that? Oh no, you won't. I realized how much we actually lose from the soil mod, or how much the difference is. So like for example, when I played on the Idaho map for the very first time with the soil mod included, I got like all the way down the field and all the way up the field before I was full. And look, I went like, I don't know, 100 yards on this map and now I'm full. Just to give you an example. So one of the things I was worried about on this, with this particular header, is that my auger wouldn't be far enough out. So when I went to harvest corn, unload corn, I should say, I ran into I thought I was going to run into problems. Luckily, I haven't yet, as you just saw. So this is good. Well, I think the Unimog's going to run into problems soon enough. So anyhow, c'est la vie, I suppose. I also managed to see, if you guys follow me on Google+, I also posted a picture of a Spudnik 6-row potato planter. I think Mr. Van Bruggen said something about I think he was the one who commented on it. I actually saw it in real life, walked around it. It's just a massive, massive piece of machinery. I couldn't believe how big it was. I don't know. Most areas, like for example, my in-laws really don't need anything that large. I think they have like a 2-row potato harvester, I think, technically. And I think there was talks at one point about attaching two 2-row potato harvesters together in order to get a 4-row potato harvester. But the difference is just immense. Like, it's crazy when you think about the size of these things. It just blows my mind. So, anyhow. But this gives you an idea. Like, this seems like a lot of material coming out of this, so. With the soil mod installed in Idaho, it's a lot different now. So it should be, I don't know, I think it's going to add an interesting element, for me at least, because it's going to make it more interesting. And, strangely enough, I did discover that the newbie farm in the next version is going to have the soil mod as well. So, let's just stop for the time being. It's going to have the soil mod as well, so that could be something I might pop over and take a look at, because I do like that game. Actually, when it gets released, the funny thing is going to be the fact that if it has a soil mod and it has the scripts which reduce the amount of yield you get, that's going to be extremely difficult to play on now. Just because of those two combinations together is going to make it extremely interesting. But that's just me, though, I think. Yeah, so there is a collision with this right here, but I think it just needs to be, this guy needs to move over just a little bit more, I think, but we'll do it this way for the time being. If I had it on course play, or this guy on course play, I don't think he'd ever get it unloaded, so, oh well. Alright, sweet. Oh, lots of activity going on in the farming world right now. There's a lot of guys, and girls, I suppose, doing, jeez, get stuck. A lot of people are doing winter wheat harvesting in Ontario if they're not already finished. It's been kind of interesting because a lot of farmers are going to run into problems with stuff like, let me just get this guy going here. A lot of people are going to run into problems with stuff like fusarium potentially, or none of the big problems I discovered not too long ago was called sprouting, where I guess the wheat seed actually starts to sprout, and then what happens is when you take it to your local grain elevator, they don't accept it basically, or you get a much lower amount of money for it, which is not cool. So, just to give you an idea. Oh man, I actually had some interesting conversations recently with my father-in-law about different things in relation to farming. One of the things we were talking about was not... What the heck is that? Is that this thing? Oh, jeez. One of the interesting conversations we had was in relation to potential other crops that he could grow on his particular farm. One of the problems one of his problems specifically is more to do with the fact that there's only a few crops, well, not a few crops, but there's only certain things that will be able to grow in his area. So, for example, he has grown soybeans, wheat, and canola, but those are really your only choices. I know you can grow white beans in the area as well, but they don't like wet soil, and he has what they call sandy loam. And he kind of lives in a area where there's a lot of moisture, so they wouldn't grow very well. And it also, one of the other interesting things you have to think about is it comes down to what your local elevator will take, right? Because not every elevator is going to take the same thing. So that's something else to consider. Let's move this guy up here. Wait for the Unimog to just go back to where his position is supposed to be. Yeah, but it was interesting because you kind of think about it, because one of the things you want to try and do is diversify a little bit, right? Or try to diversify as much as possible. Like this year, might have been a good year for growing soybeans, but one of the biggest problems is so many people grew soybeans. So if those people who grew wheat this year, probably, in terms of price-wise, they're going to do all right, but in terms of weather-wise, it probably didn't do very well, just because... it was sort of, well, in Ontario at least, it was sort of a wet spring and a wet summer for the most part. So growing conditions haven't been ideal for a lot of things. Luckily, soybeans appears to be fairly versatile, so it's pretty nice actually. But if you want to, branch out a little bit, you don't really have many options, specifically as a crop farmer, because there's only certain ones going to pay out. Like, you think about it, any type of business you run these days, you have to be able to, you have to think about your bottom line. So if you hire people to do stuff like custom harvesting, custom spraying, those types of things, that decreases the amount of money you're potentially going to make, right? And as a farmer, you're not going to make very much money to begin with anyways, so it makes it really difficult to choose what to put into the ground, right? I don't know. It's interesting because you have to take all these things into consideration. So I had an interesting conversation with him about that not too long ago, about those types of things, because as a farmer, you try to hedge your, I think it's the expression is hedge your bets, so to speak. So try and not lose money where possible, and that's the reason why a lot of people, do a little bit of soybeans, do a little bit of wheat, and obviously there's different variations of wheat, I suppose. Like, I think it's hard red winter wheat you tend to make the most money from, as far as I know at least. But it's hard to grow in certain areas. So, well, in areas, in my father-in-law's area, I guess, it's hard to grow for him on his particular land type. But it pays the most. You could also grow, I think, soft winter wheat, I think it's called. So, another possibility. I don't know. It all depends on what you do, and all sorts of... There's so many factors, it's just crazy. And they also do stuff like, well, my in-laws do farmers market as well. So I had a little conversation about that also not too long ago, about potentially changing up, not necessarily changing up, but trying to niche down into a specific market. I was talking, just, open conversation style. We were talking a bit about that as well, and what you could potentially do and whatnot. So it was pretty interesting actually, because what appears to happen, at least in a lot of farmers markets, is stuff like one particular farm corners the market and then you can't compete with them, sort of idea. So for things like, let me give you an example here. Let me just set this up properly first. Really? That's interesting. Course. Offset? No, I don't want to offset. I want to increase the size of it. Not the landscape. Here it is. There we go. That looks about right. And one of the things that happens a lot of the time is there's like somebody corners the market to a certain extent. So for example, there's one person who has like pristine broccoli, for example. And then no one else can grow broccoli because no one else can compete. And you run into some other weird situations where it might be the person has broccoli, but they don't necessarily grow it in their farm. There's some really strange practices I've discovered over time on farmers markets. Like, it's not always local. That's why you need to, talk to the farmer itself, him or herself, and ask questions about, well, where is it grown? Some people will actually let you come and see their farm as well. It's always a possibility. So stuff like that. Like, those are the types of things you kind of need to figure out for yourself. They're not always going to... Unfortunately, not every person's going to be up front. And that applies to anybody, really, right? So, not that I'm advocating against farmers markets. Very much the opposite. I just think you should know who grows it and know whether it's, like, local and stuff like that. That's what I'm going for, at least. Don't know if that came across that clearly, but that's what I'm trying to say. Ah, well. It is what it is, I suppose. Excellent. Actually, a lot of people are going to be taking down corn soon, I think. What is it? We got August, so September, October, probably, somewhere in that area. I imagine people are going to start taking down corn. Actually, some people have already taken corn off the field, depending what type of corn they're growing. If they're growing sweet corn or silage corn, I think, and depending where you're located as well, right? So, wow. Hurry up, Unimog. Yeah, so right now, on the Idaho map, with the soil mod, I would definitely not be getting this much material. Which I like, because it makes it more difficult. It adds another element to the game. I hope, I should say, that the new release of Farming Simulator, coming out in October, I hope the conversion of the soil mod to that new version of the game is swift, because I'd really like to use it more often in the new game. But it's funny, nowadays I look for maps with it on. There actually haven't been many maps that have included it for whatever reason. It depends on the map creator, right? Like, some people say, hey, I'm going to do this. Some people say, no, I'm not going to do this. So, and I actually looked at how hard it was to include, and it's not the end of the world difficult, but it's a lot of steps. And if you do it right, I don't know, I looked at the instructions and it doesn't look terribly difficult, but you definitely have to pay a close attention to them. Otherwise, you will definitely make a mistake. Which is what happened to me. I looked at it and I was looking around trying to find a couple things, and I made the mistake of not reading it clearly enough. It must have been late at night or early in the morning. One of the two. There we go. Nice. This field's actually pretty big now that I think about it. This is probably not the most efficient way of doing the field, of harvesting the field, but it'll definitely work. So, oh goodness. All right. So while we're doing this, let's take a look at a couple of the comments from the previous episode. This is the previous episode. It's funny, I recorded the very first episode of Lanwerhkanal quite a long time ago now. And so when I go to look at where it is in terms of the video, it is really, it was a long time ago. I think it was, I don't know how long ago now, but it makes me laugh. Alright, so, Clumsy Clown, or Clumsy? Is this Clumsy? He says I should make the bale size 160 centimeters. And what else do we got here? What else do we got? Jake says, with his Moco, there's not a full row. What does he say? In his Moco, when there's not a full row, it will grab some of the other windrow and form another one. Oh, okay, I see what he's talking about now. Yeah. Chris Girth says, 2 thumbs up. Gotta love that. Heather says, hey Ian, I like your videos. Hey Heather. What else do we got here? Imasal says, Dino is from England, and there are a few farms in England that use machines like the big cat Challenger I was talking about a while back that he was using, so. It's a pretty big machine. It kind of surprised me when I saw him using it in England, because it's not something I would expect to see, but it is and it isn't, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because it is in the sense that it makes perfect sense that you'd have a tracked vehicle in England, because it really helps for, I assume, for wet land, and that would make their lives a little bit easier, I guess. But it's the first time I've seen it, at least. I know a lot of people at least have 4-wheel drive tractors in England and Ireland and Scotland, I suppose, because you can't get away with anything less. Or it's very difficult to do that. Which I'm not surprised by, honestly, because the amount of rain people get out in Ireland and England, it's just ridiculous. Alright, I don't know what we were going to do at the end of the last episode. We got TMR for our pigs. And our sheep are running at 100% efficiency as well, which is good. Now we have a little bit of corn. We can actually give our pigs a little bit of corn if we want to as well. And they actually don't need silage. I don't know why. I always give like cows and pigs and beef cows, whatever. I always give them like everything, a little bit of everything. I don't know why. So I give them silage, I give them grass, even though they don't need all of that. They only really need TMR basically, and then TMR, I think it's water. Those are the 2 things it needs. And then after you give them that, they're at 100% productivity. I can't believe how much material, like how much corn have we actually got out of here? Like, it's got to be a ridiculous amount. Yeah, 59,000. A lot of people are mentioning where you can get seeds and fertilizer and stuff like that. It's right over here. Here's the train yard right in here. And you can get your stuff right from field 13 right there. In case you're wondering. I wonder how much the fields are on this map. I never actually looked. 26. How much is 26? We could buy 15, which is way over there. Oh, they're actually pretty expensive. Holy cow. 44. Where's that? 43, 44 is right there. Oh, we could buy that one. It's not it's not, well, some of them are pretty crazy and some of them aren't, so. Oh my gosh, Unimog, hurry up. Sheesh. It's just chilling out there doing nothing. I don't know. I understand it. What else do we got here? Philip says hello. Hello, Philip. I think he messaged me on FS-UK. It's the first time that one's ever happened. I think he, I don't know what, I must have said something, or I downloaded him on, and then my name popped up or something, and someone encountered me, Philip encountered me on FS-UK, so it's kind of funny. I haven't had one of those strange situations where someone's recognized me in public, thankfully. I'd be like, hi, how's it going? And you are... I think that would be my first reaction, at least. I'm pretty sure it would be. But that's just a thought. I'm not 100% on that, but... I suppose what I should do if I ever go to one of the crazy conferences, if I ever go to a conference, I should make a t-shirt or something with my name on it so people know who the heck I am. I think Direwolf does that, actually. He does. I think he wears a Direwolf 20 t-shirt so people know it's him. And apparently, if you want to, you can find pictures of him and the way he looks in real life. There we go. Perfect. Although I don't know... sometimes that means a lot to people, and they want to know. They want to know what people look like, but it's not always not really that relevant in a lot of scenarios. But just the way it is. I do face cam so you can see what it looked like. You can see my ugly mug. Someone actually made a funny comment the other day. What was it? I think it was episode number 2 of Lanwerhkanal. Someone said awesome or rocking beard or something like that, and I was not expecting that one at all. So thank you for that person who said that. It's funny. It depends. I do the beard usually in the winter or in the summer sometimes. Like right now, this summer hasn't been terribly hot, so having a beard hasn't been difficult at all. But when you have one of those really blazing hot summers where it's 30 plus degrees every day with a humidex makes it feel like 40 degrees, then I tend not to have a beard. But this summer hasn't been too bad. But I do it for the winter and the fall generally, not because I follow hockey or anything. Because I know hockey players do I think it's called a playoff beard or something. I don't do that. I just like having a beard, so that's why I grow it. It makes my life easier to shave as well, for those people who can relate to that. Alright, sweet. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll stop the episode there for now after awkwardly talking about my beard. And I think what we'll do is... what should we do? Let me know what you think we should do next episode. Leave a comment down below as to what do you think we should do next episode, and we'll go from there. How about that? Anyways, my name's Iain Robson. This has been Farming Simulator 2013, coming at you from Lanwerhkanal. I will talk to you guys later.